Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. So all of you had lunch or got lunch? Okay. Yeah, so so the subject of the talk is on impermanent and Bodhicitta. So maybe this session maybe I thought to focus on the topic on impermanent, and maybe tomorrow we can talk about the Bodhicitta, the altruistic, the teaching of the Bodhicitta. So you see, first of all, the in the whether to concern with our natural natural wanting. As a person, as a living being, there's a natural liking or aspiring, and there's again natural aversion to things that do not wish to experience or encounter, and as well as from the spiritual influence is once you start to practice spiritual belief, there's also a purpose, culturally or yeah, very much either do with the human different culture or religious different culture. One thing the common is that we we aspire for happiness and do not wish to experience any form of inconvenience and sufferings. But even though that is the natural voice, or even when we practice religion or practice any or cultivate any kind of culture, is very much to condition, cause condition for us to fulfill that aspiration, to encounter, to experience peace and happiness, and always to stay away from problems, sufferings. But even though that is our natural wanting, and even though that is also very much purpose of the reason why I practice spirituality, but the reality doesn't really in the real life, in our day-to-day, in real time, it doesn't really happen. Most of the time, happen opposite. The inconvenience, the problems, very much like like a flood, intrude into our system, and happiness and peace even comes in our way, but in a very temporary moment. Doesn't really last. Even when we practice good culture, but then instead of conditioning for us to bring happiness, but that also, in most of time, be cause and conditions to bring more stress, more inconvenience. And even when we practice Buddhism, Buddha Dharma, or any other spiritual practice, it sounds, whenever we listen to the teaching, whenever we read the teachings, it all sounds wonderful. It really comforting. But then that comfort, that wonderfulness, again, doesn't really last so long. When the activities of the conventional life, the worldly life takes in, then that comfortableness, that that wonderfulness that we learn from the Dhamma sessions or the Dhamma texts, somehow it's become unrated like that. It is very much like kind of not impacting to the real world like that. So then also our actions, even though we aspire for happiness, we do not aspire for any negativities and suffering. But the action that we most of the time engage through our bodhicitta mind, very much abundance of accumulations of causes for trouble, causes for inconvenience, or in many amount of time, we just kind of don't do anything. We just stay in neutral. And during that neutral state, we waste a lot of great opportunities to collect conditions for happiness that which we aspire for, or waste opportunity to purify those causes conditions that will that those experiences that which we do not wish to experience. But then just because of living our actions in neutral state, all those opportunities get lost. So that's what happened in our day-to-day life. Most of the time, we say, I don't want to suffer. I don't want any negative environment or negative causes and conditions or the environment, but then very much like willingly, we stay committing negativities. Otherwise, most of the time we stay neutral. Even in the time that we put ourselves in the design position to create merits, to accumulate dhamma, accumulate virtue. Even those concentrated time, the virtues, not necessarily become perfect virtues or complete meritorious karma, because in order to accumulate a complete karma, whether to do the negative or virtue, it has to encounter 4 factors. It has to have the dedicated motivation, then right actions, right tools of performing actions, and then the concluding the actions that which is also they resemble or the harmony with the intention and the action and the tools of action. All the 4 factors has to be harmony in order to create full karma, whether to virtuous karma or non-virtuous karma. So how come that we live in this kind of this kind of life, wanting something, but then creating the causes for the opposite experience. And innately wanting, even if we are influenced by the culture, like the religious culture, Buddhist culture, taught us, to pursue the genuine happiness and create the cause of happiness. But it's not happening. Why? Because of the hallucination, because of the defilement, because of the delusion, the wrong views, that we carry, the Buddhist understanding, we understand like that because of that. So because of carrying the hallucinated grasping or delusional grasping, we have this, the falls of not realizing, having the wrong view of grasping impure as a pure, impermanent as a permanent, true existence of self, lack of true existence of self as a true existence, or lack of inherent existence of self as an inherent existence. We call it sangde tak. So because of these three wrong view, then put us in the confusion, put us in the darkness. Among all the view of grasping impermanent nature phenomena as a permanent phenomena, that's the first shell that we need to break in order for us to be free from the control of the delusion, control of hallucination. We need to break that first shield, which is the wrong view of the permanent grasping. So therefore, when Buddha first turned of Dharma, which we celebrated yesterday, 2,600 years ago, when he first revealed the first turning wheel of Dharma on Four Noble Truth, the first teaching he have taught is teaching on impermanent. To break the first shield that which put us in ignorance, in hallucination, for us not to, discover the truth, discover the light, to the correct path, to the correct mind, to correct actions of the body, speech, and mind, where the samsara comes about. When we generally talk about samsara, is very much initiated by delusion, initiated by karma, and that karma initiated by delusion, and the delusion, we talk about the 20th century delusions, then six root delusions, and three, very root delusions, such as attachment grasping, aversion grasping, ignorant grasping, So all these graspings, in order for us to overcome these graspings, which are the root cause of the karma that directly, producing inconvenience in our life, even though we do not wish to experience, we accumulating them, even though we do not wish to experience, the consequences of those karma, and it comes in our way. In order for us to purify that, in order for us to purify samsara, and it is causes karma delusion. The first thing, we need to break the shield, or the shell, break the first layer of the shell of permanent grasping. So due to this reason, Buddha, even when he first had the will of Dharma, when he introduced suffering is to be known, cause of the suffering to be purified, cessation to be achieved, path to be adopted, to actualize the cessation. And the suffering, to understand the suffering, there's a 4 characteristics of the suffering to be understood. The first one is why suffer? Why it is suffering? Because of the wrong view or the grasping of permanent to the impermanent, nature. Then second one is the suffering itself. Mita dunge tong, mita dunge tong dane. So first mita is permanent, impermanent. Second one is suffering, dunge, such as the pervasive compounded suffering is the most painful suffering, which is we call samsara. Instead of acknowledging pervasive compounded existence as a suffering, we regard as a pleasure. We regard as comfortable existence. Right at this very time, all of us, we feel very comfortable. Only, so comfortable until maybe almost falling asleep. The stomach is so comfortable with quite a lot of rice in our Buddhist food, with a lot of rice, a lot of cheese. So the stomach is really become numb. Then my style of teaching is very boring. Really make you feel sleep. If you need sleeping pill, listen to my teaching. Then the weather is also making us so comfortable. It's quite warm. And it's winter, but this sunshine is beautiful. But in actual reality, all these are pervasive compounded suffering. And there's some experiences are suffering of change. Generally, the basis of all our experiences, the mind, the body, the land, the house, the light, the heat, the cold, cushion, everything is a product of karma and delusion. It's a samsara. It's a pervasive compounded existent. So that called samsara. That has continuation of karma and delusion. But then we see comfortableness. We don't feel uncomfortable with it, isn't it? We feel comfortable. Then, morning, we're hungry. Then even how spicy the food is, how cheesy it is, how much rice, just didn't bother, just enjoy. We say, I enjoyed the lunch, isn't it? And enjoy it. And in actual fact, that is not in actual reality, it's not an enjoyment. Actually, we experience suffering. And that's what suffering of change. If you have it, maybe the suffering of change is not manifesting for some, not so early. If you have eaten a lot of chili, when the time to go to toilet, at that time, then then you say, oh no, okay, this is the real suffering of change. Yeah, so whatever. So basically, in whatever form it may be, but it will decrease the comfortableness. And that's the sign, that's the proof that underlying matter is being pervasive compounded suffering. Then on top of the second lining is suffering change. So therefore, Buddha says, one of Buddha says that to know the suffering as a suffering, especially talking about the pervasive compounded suffering. Once you know the pervasive compounded as a suffering, then you will know suffering of change as a suffering. And of course, suffering of pain is easy to know, so if you really want to be free from samsara, free from problem, inconvenience, then you say the first thing to know the suffering. But how to know the suffering? You have to know how the suffering comes about. And that is from the four characteristics of the First Noble Truth. Most of suffering comes from, from changes that come in our way. The impermanent take effect in our way. To those phenomena, to those experiences that we have the permanent grasping, even though the reality is impermanent, but then we carry this permanent grasping. So that to do with our life, that to do with our relation with the loved one, that to do with our relation with enemy, so-called enemy, that to do with our relation with all sort of experiences in our life. When good experiences comes in our way, we have this permanent grasping as this never should change. It has to be ever like that because it's a good experience. It is nice experience. It's happiness. It's joyful. It's a good thing. So it shouldn't have any changes. Change shouldn't come its own way. And the way naturally how we apprehend in the eyes of permanent grasping. We may not mention it. We may not even educated about it, but the natural instinct, the natural the subject relating to the object, the mind or the senses relating to the object of those experience, it relate with the permanent grasping. You see, permanent grasping. So because of having permanent grasping, when the natural nature, which will anyway will take effect, because that is the natural nature of that phenomena, that relationship, then we suffer. But if you have the wisdom, not just knowing this is impermanent, this is changeable, not just being aware, not just knowing intellectually, but having the wisdom, and especially wisdom that which you are educated through meditation, the deeper level of mind, understanding the impermanent nature. So if you have that, then when the changes come, even with good thing that we're experiencing it, there's no suffering, because there's no surprises. It's you understood, it's expected, and accepted. You very much respect the nature, the natural process. You respect, that is very much accepting what it is, reality is, the truth is, and because of that, then the fundamental mind, don't get disturbed. When your fundamental mind, the meditative state of mind, is let's say, knowing the truth, and apprehending the experience on the basis of truth, and then our gross mind, including our brain, they are secondary. You see, the brain may not accept our the conceptual mind or gross mind. Gross mind may not accept, but then the meditative mind, the non-conceptual state of the wisdom mind, which you gain from the meditation, overpower, overpower that. You see, overpower the power of the brain and the power of the gross mind. So you very much, you see, you very much live in the truth, or very much leave your mind under your control, not by the control of circumstances, not by the control of false view or wrong view, not under the power of grasping, not under the power of delusion. You see, then you suffer. You see. So that relation to to do with our health, because of not understanding the impermanent nature of the body, of the mind. Then whenever there's a changes that which is inconvenient, bring inconvenience to you, we suffer so much. We really freak out. You see, then get overwhelmed. Then it brings even greater suffering, emotionally. Like kind of exaggerated suffering. Added great amount of suffering where there's no basis to be proven there's a substantial suffering there. It's very much that the delusion is the one that unable to accept the change, and that influence our brain system, our gross mind, then influence the brain system, then influence the entire our elements, then it brings even more imbalance of such as the 4 elements in our body, and that bring effect to the imbalance of the subtle elements in our mind. Then both body and mind completely, disturbed. Then so that leads to like we call unbearable pain, depression, excessive delusions, you see, excessive anger, excessive, the what you call the suffering from attachment, because you can't accept the changes, the loss. You see, so then that even go, especially it could be more intense in relation to life and death. You see, we have this permanent grasping about life. We learn so much, we read, we chant, death is certain, time of death is uncertain, but that is very intellectual. But that never become wisdom, especially wisdom of meditation. So when the actual reality take effect, you cannot, you have no wisdom to accept the reality, of life ceasing, in life, dissolving, and pass it to the exhaustion, and the death. There's so much fear, you see, and because of permanent grasping to the life. So therefore, See, if we meditate on death and impermanent, the more realization you achieve in death and impermanent, lesser, fear you have about the transition from life to death in relation to yourself, in relation to your loved one. You see, then you rather dedicate your energy, your mind into, fulfilling, beneficial purposes during those kind of experiences. Otherwise, if we continue to live in this hallucination of permanent grasping to the life, if never really, gain the wisdom of meditation on that, then completely overwhelmed by fear of losing life, fear of uncertainty, what will happen after you discard some of that, and the fear of dissolutions that comes in our way. You see, there's a whether the dissolutions go gradual, slow, or rapid, quick dissolution, whatever it is, it manifests not only to our mind, but also manifests to our physical existence. The exhaustion or the degenerations of our physical aggregates, the dissolution manifests into exhaustion, to the energy, to the power, to the comfortableness in relation to our body, in relation to our five senses, six senses. And on top of that, the natural appearance of hallucination, makes those experiences of those dissolution extremely vivid, intense. It's like real time, real, very grossly happening. Then it brings, unbelievable fear, as if those hallucinated experiences are really experiencing numberless times greater intensity than what your physical body go through during those process. You see, so but if you have the wisdom of impermanent, in particularly wisdom impermanent in relation to the nature, the occurrence of death, then whenever there's a sign of nearing to the death, sign of death comes in our way, even in a very subtle way, you see, you have a control over your system, especially the sixth consciousness, and you're able to completely stay away from the disturbances, from the physical dissolutions, as well as the sign of dissolution that occur within our mind as a hallucination, and on top of that, one able to dedicate entirety of our energy into, positive accumulations, virtues, cultivation of virtues, meditations, and practices, at least, through your visualizations, through your mental cultivation, even though physically may not be capable, but your heart, can even experience, those who are really well developed, high realized wisdom of realization on death and impermanent. In such a situation, you can even, before reaching to the state of pure life, you still, you already start to enjoy. You already start to enjoy, the pure land experiences. Before even occurring the natural clear light, you already start to, go through the process of the clear light meditation. So therefore, it described in the teaching that good practitioner, they very much get excited. They feel so excited. It's like, I'm just going to, like a kind of, you just like keep approaching your very elegant wardrobe, where you know what kind of beautiful dresses that you have height, and also you just came out from very wet, messy, exotic jungle hiking, completely mess up, completely mess up. So you need to, and also, like there's a like very hot shower, very big bathroom, bathtub maybe waiting, then just there's like big wardrobe with beautiful dresses. When you come from that hiking, approaching just the door, you'll be so excited. You'll be so, you already start to feel relief, even though you're so exhausted. You're so exhausted. You're so kind of, all your clothes and your feet, your hands, and everything is like completely, like kind of like, how to say, yeah, in the worst condition. So, and the aggregates, both mind and the body, is very much like the whole, from beginningless lifetime, even within just this very lifetime, we very much went into that kind of messy jungle expression of samsara, and completely mess up, and when death comes, it's like you're seeing the beautiful aroma, rose flower sprinkle bathtub filled with the Himalayan salt water spa. Then just maybe the next door, maybe like beautiful wardrobe, the beautiful, is so approaching death, it's like you go with the confidence of your bathtub and your wardrobe, then that's it. You just cleanse, by discarding this sick body or old body, and including, since you already prepare a nice bathtub, now take a good soaking, good shower. This is like when the bathtub is very much, I think I will give example, bathtub as a natural clear light. Natural clear light occurrence is like very comfortable bathtub, where you're going to utilize the natural clear light, taking onto a path of the clear light as a path. It's like you not only cleanse the body, but also cleanse your continuum, And when you finish that cleansing, the result is whichever body you take, either Nirmanakaya body, Sambhopakaya body, or Dharmakaya body, everything is like completely clean, pure, elegant, ready to party, ready to go for whatever big meeting that you have, a big job that you have, it's like that. So even though it sounds, and it is, it sounds the inherent grasping is the most troublesome, but actually inherent grasping is very much grasping that has so many different layers, so many different shell. When you take away the layers of shell out, the inherent grasping is nothing. Inherent grasping, this very nasty one we always hear, the inherent grasping or the substantial grasping, the negation, which Nagarjuna, kind of fight for it and he win. This one of the worst kind of negation But actually, the permanent grasping is, in fact, is the first attempt for us to negate the inherent grasping. It's the first attempt. So the first time we don't have much experience, we are not really used, about negating the hallucinal aspect or the hallucinal aspect of, the limitations and negation. So for as a trainee, as a practitioner, we have such a hard time, such complexity for us to manage to negate the first layer of the shell, which is the permanent grasping, permanent grasping to self, permanent grasping to phenomena, permanent grasping to very much all things and events, that comes in contact with our life, with our existence. That's the first thing that we need to put effort. You see, once you're able to, clear the permanent grasping, then you see, as how described, through the 4 schools of Buddhist thoughts on selflessness, on emptiness, like the school, the Bodhicitta school, Southern Devas school, Chittamatharin school, then Southern Madhyamika school, Vasangika Madhyamika school. You see, this lining of this 4 school and the last Madhyamika, 2 sub-school, has an amazing benefits of designing, these stages of this philosophical school. And when you use the tool that they have presented, the defining of negation by each school, and the wisdom that they define, the selfless wisdom that they define by each school. In fact, it is the layout, like kind of presented the different layers of the shell for negation, from the permanent grasping all the way up to the inherent grasping. So you just need to take out first shell, second shell, So once you take out the last shell, you cannot find inherent. You cannot find anything to be negated. You don't find wisdom, and that's your finding of emptiness. You see. So if you go according with the scriptural kind of presentation, then the negation that Vaibhasika and the Saudika, the first 2 school, Hinayan school, asserted self and phenomena. This is the hallucinational view, wrong view, and it is negation. So what that negation is, the wrong view or the grasping of person and phenomena as a permanent and independent existent and autonomically existent. There's no losing of its nature of interdependent arising. Establishing existence, beyond interdependently existent as a innate permanent existence, as a independent existence, non-dependent on cause and conditions, part and particles. See, then autonomically, autonomically existent, like very much one ultimate power, one ultimate phenomena that make about your existence without any interdependent condition. You see, autonomic power. You see, so within that, the first you take out the shell of permanent grasping, then independent existent grasping, autonomical existent grasping. Then after that, now you move to the Vaibhasika and Samadika is the same. The negation is there's only differences with the its subtleness, but the wording is the same. Then the Chitta Madra. The Chitta Madra, the negation is the dualistic existence. You see. So if you have the grasping of dualistic existence, like such as this flower exists by its own cause, by its own substance, without reliance or without interdependence to the imputation of the mind or the arising of the imprint of the mind, and then dualistically exist. Other than the mind, still there is a possibility of, or still there's an existence by its own right out there. So they become dualistic existent, you see. And this dualistic existence carry the element of the false element of the false view, the hallucinational view of true existence, hallucinational view of substantial existence, hallucinational view of inherent existence. You see. So now you eradicate, you smash another layer of shell to the inherent existence, the dualistic existence, and you come to a understanding that self and phenomena, including this flower, exists on the basis of the ripening of karma, ripening of mental imprint. If there's no mind, if there's no imprint, there's no possibility of existence of any outer phenomena, including the mind. There's no possibility of existence. Mind exists, phenomena exist, I and you exist because of the power of the mind, which carry the imprint, and the existence are simply illustration of that imprint. Other than that, nothing is exist. Nothing is exist. You see, but you see so that itself already become much more subtle than the earlier negation that described by Bodhicitta and Bodhicitta. But then still not unable to purify the deep level of the hallucinational view, such as the substantial existence and inherent existence. Even though you're able to purify the dualistic existence, but you're unable to purify the hallucination still, because the mind that which impute the existence is asserted as a true existence. So if the mind exists in the nature of true existence, then you lose the actual natural existence as an independent existence. You lose that flavor. You lose that identity. The identity of any existence is interdependent arising, or interdependent existence. You lose that because of your true existence. You see. So now, but at least better than the earlier one, because the Vaibhasika and Sautrantika, as long as the dependent arising, as long as there's a cause and condition, part and particle, even there's no mind, it's okay, you will exist. For Vaibhasika Sautrantika, flower, as long as there's a seed, there's the natural element, then nothing to worry about mind. The flower can exist. As long as you have a correct apple seed, the apple will be produced. So like this is nothing really concerned about the imprint of the mind. You see, but then the interdependent arising, even though asserted interdependent arising, but interdependent arising in the sense of true existence and inherent existence. You see. So now anyway, you overcome the first layer, second layer. Then now go to the very much the final the negation, which is the substantial or inherent existence. So such as the Sautrantika Madhyamika. Yes, things are existing interdependently, do not exist, do not exist inherently. But we say, yeah, do not exist inherently, or do not exist in we call the do not exist what's that? As a true existence, but in order to exist, it has to have a substantial capability, from the object side. Without substance, there's no potential to actualize. As a self, you need to have a substance. You need to have a seed, potency. Then the self can be actualized. The others and the rest of phenomena, it need to have its own, defining, characterized seed, the substance, to bring about existence of the rest of the phenomena. You see? So, and in order to establish that, it's not necessarily it has to be established as a true existence. So, this substantial existence is inherent nature of any existence. If there's no inherent nature, and how to bring about production, or it is the defining different characteristic. You see, so and that's substance, that potential is the whole reason that you can establish as a interdependent arising. So therefore, this is like something about the like I established the view of interdependent arising by negating the true existence. By negating the true existence, you can able to establish the interdependent arising. But then for the final view, like the Madhyamika Pasambhika or Nagarjuna, like Lama Tsongkhapa, Buddha's final intent about emptiness is substantial existence and inherent existence is not different. True existence, substantial existence, inherent existence is very much the same thing. It's very much the same thing. So therefore, in order to establish legitimate interdependent arising or interdependent existence, then you need to negate even substantial existence, the substantial potential to be actualized existence. You see, so you see, so then when you negate that, from the point of view of Madhyamika Pasangika, you negate the substantial existence, then that makes the legitimate interdependent arising, which is called the interdependent existence, very much meaning interdependent on labeling of the mind. Things and self and phenomena, things and events and experiences exist, merely in the labeling of the mind, merely the imputation of the mind. By losing from its own side as an inherent base, inherent existence, substantial existence, dualistic existence, independent existence, autonomic existence, or then independent existence, then permanent existence. So it's okay. So anyway, so the permanent existence. So once you're able to break the shell of the permanent existence, it brings a great help to the realizations of emptiness. So in short, we all hear about emptiness, isn't it? It's a big word. It sounds like very difficult. It sounds like very profound. It is profound. It is difficult. But then the main difficulty is the first step, and which is to break the shell of permanent grasping. The moment you lose the permanent grasping, you see, the power of the grasping in your system is almost like 90% is weakened. Power of grasping, power of hallucination to anything is very much like 90% is weakened. The moment you break the shell of permanent grasping, check it out. You see, so but the way to go about, first we need to observe the grosser level of the environment and grosser level of our existence how its natural functions are, which is impermanent, which is momentarily changing. I see. First, we have to observe. You see, on a open land, and after a few months, suddenly buildings are built. That concrete old building after a few years destroyed. And sometimes it's very, very good to look at your kindergarten picture yourself. I see, this was me how many years before, and now you show your face in the mirror. This is me now. The changes, and sometimes can be very tricky. Even you start to it's still deeply you're not still understanding the momentary changes. You may say I've changed, but then if someone comes and say that, oh, you look so old, you will be offended. Is it? Oh, yeah, I remember, when we were on the standard, first standard, now you look so old, you will be offended. Why? Because the permanent grasping. If you don't have permanent grasping, if you have genuine wisdom of, impermanent in relation to the nature of your, your journey of life, say thank you. Thank you. Yes, I am. I'm very old now. Thank you. I mean, you don't have to say that. Actually, I know. You can even say that. Anyway, thank you for reminding me. But in most cases, no. Even outside, I practice Dharma. You looks quite cool inside. Someone said I'm old. Quickly go in the mirror. Oh, really old? And you deny. No. She over exaggerated. I'm still maybe 20 years younger. And maybe she look quite old, not me. So even that is very simple, but then really to deeply impact, the effect of, those experiences in our emotion, can be huge different whether we have really meditated on that topic or not, whether we have really gained wisdom of meditation or not. You see, the deeper the meditation that you have, the greater the wisdom that you achieve through meditation. Really deep absorption meditation. I'm talking about deep absorption meditation. You see, now you say, how about what do you mean by absorption meditation? There's a very it's very how to say, it's a symbol, but then it is so powerful, and it is it's something that you need to design your time to single-pointedly just focusing on that particular topic by closing the all the other mind, all the other thoughts, all the other ideas, just single-pointedly. You see, the object of that absorption meditation is the wisdom that you actualize from analysis. The object of analysis, the analytical meditation we're supposed to do, is the wisdom that you achieve through learning. You do a scripture study, or through instruction, whatever. You see, you very much know the definition of what I mean by impermanent. It's like momentarily changing. That is the nature of our life. Nature of all the functioning phenomena. Then that also applies to every existing, including the experience of life and death. See, you learn about that, then you learn the correct information. The sense of come to a conclusion that oh yes, I see. This is it. I see. But then to make you to gain an irresistible conviction, unwavering, unchangeable conviction, on that wisdom, you have to analyze it, using logics, the examples, real examples. Then, if you really trust the scripture, then using the scriptural, the statements like a quotations, the teachings, then really bring to a sense, in deep in your heart. Oh, I see. Oh, that's true. Life is really, in the nature impermanent, and that has the element of life exhaustion and transition to a death. That's absolutely that's it. You're completely convinced. Even whatever way you are cornered, try to disprove you that understanding that you have no one can disprove you. You have the logical proof to yourself, the scriptural proof to yourself, and example proof to yourself. So then at the end of that, oh, I see, this is it. And that is the wisdom. It's like complete conviction is the wisdom. Or that is certain. Time of death lies in the nature of impermanent. Time of death is uncertain. Or life, lies in the nature of impermanent. A kind of definite conviction. Or that conviction. So that conviction, there's no word now. Very much, there's no description of word now. That oh, I see. Oh, this is it. That conclusion is the wisdom, and that wisdom is the object of your meditation. Absorption meditation. You see, now the the picture of what the absorption meditation is, the characteristics on that wisdom, on that, oh, I see, or life lies in the nature impermanent. Then you use single pointed awareness. There's a conviction there, the one mind holding that conviction. Now this is the object of absorption meditation. Now you assign another mind, which is the single pointed awareness, and aware that conviction single pointedly. Single pointedly. The moment these other thoughts arrive, means you are waking up from the absorption state of mind, or the subtle state of mind. You see, you are still using the cognitive or the essential, awareness, which would become a gross mind. So you need to use a subtle, the meditative mind, which is the absorption mind. So simply observing to the object of your meditation single pointedly, as long as possible, as repeated as possible. Let's start with maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, half an hour, 2 or 3 hours, and repeatedly, day after day. And there comes to a point that without any reasoning, without any effort, naturally arising, in your awareness all the time, even how busy your thoughts become, how many activities that you engage, your awareness is always aware or awakened, in complete mindfulness of that wisdom, complete mindfulness of that wisdom. And there you gain the wisdom of meditation, wisdom of absorption meditation, you see. So now onward, then the external factors, the conscious factors, or say essential mental factors, hallucinational mental factors, none can able to disturb your mind. I see. Your wisdom mind, the meditative wisdom mind, overpower all the rest of the other mind. So therefore, any circumstances like such as changes comes in our life, even death comes in our way, our conscious system is completely, filled with the awareness of that understanding of nature that will express in acceptance, in a clear wisdom of knowing what exactly the truth is, and utilizing the time in the most meaningful way, like such as cultivation of Dharma, cultivation of antidote, like such as like taking the death process as a clear-light meditation, or the daily yoga practices, or meditation on emptiness, meditation on Tonglen, meditation on Bodhicitta, so all the other like meditation on just simply completely, focusing on your guru, complete in the practice of refuge, etc. So you're completely purified all the fears, all the confusions. Your path is so clear, and the stages of that journey, stages of the transition, you travel with such a confident, full of preparation. So you see, so these all are the benefit of breaking the shell of the hallucination of permanent grasping. Like you see. So therefore, even the one of the most important teachings of the Buddha Dharma, the four seals. Whenever you practice your Dharma on the basis of four seals, then there's no leakage, there's no flow in your practices. There's no leakage of condemnation of eight worldly concerns, condemnations of wrong views. So Dharma practices become very pure, very productive. So in the four seals, the first one is all compounded phenomena as impermanent. All the all the compounded phenomena are suffering. The first one is impermanent. Second one is suffering, and then all phenomena are empty, empty of self. The third one is all phenomena are empty. Then the fourth one is all phenomena are selflessness. So first one is all functioning phenomena or compounded phenomena. So you can say like all functioning phenomena in the nature of impermanent, all compounded phenomena in the nature of suffering, all phenomena lies in the nature of empty, all phenomena lies in the nature of empty of self. Or selflessness, like that. You see, so even in this content, when Buddha introduced the teaching through the philosophical presentation, the first teaching, is the four seals. So from the four seals, the first one is again is the teachings on impermanent. How important it is. You see, so that. Then when we practice Lamrim or any form of Dharma, if we are truly serious about our spiritual practice, then there are three decisions. Three decisions that need to make on the basis of three reasonings. Then our Dharma practices become pure and solid. Otherwise there's a danger of influence of eight worldly concern, or you practice occasionally, unable to sustain the practices, etc. So, or life like mixture of worldly Dharma, pure Dharma. You see, so the first one is the reflecting on the preciousness of precious human rebirth. Then you actualize full confidence that I can practice Dharma. I can. I have all the freedom, all the conducive conditions to practice Dharma. I have all the causes and conditions and capabilities to actualize liberation, from entirety of the samsara. It is causes, the karma and delusion. I have a full capability to be complete in the service of numberless sentient beings, well-being, all the way up to enlightenment. I have the capability, I have all the conducive conditions to actualize even enlightenment within this very cushion, within this very mind, that courage. The first decision is to have the confidence, like, yes, I have. Yes, I have all the potential. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. So that's the first decision by reflecting on the precision. But now the second most important, the decision is to practice the Dharma right now, in the present time, by reflecting on the nature lies in the impermanent. Because of nature of this precious, this unbelievable potential, precious life lies in the impermanent nature. And what is the most obvious impermanent can occur to us is life from death. Life, the losing the preciousness of these potentials, the fortune of these potentials, losing, you see. So therefore, understanding the nature of impermanence and the death, then you make the second decision. I cannot wait to practice next time, other time, later. I must practice now, because only now, only present time, that I can confidently say, I have life. The very next moment of this present time, no one, yourself, or even the Buddhas will not speak out. If you ask, to the Buddha, will I live up to the next moment? Buddha will keep quiet. He won't say anything. You ask Jesus, also keep quiet. Allah also keep quiet. Shiva also keep quiet. And people who live in hallucination, they may confidently say, oh, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. How possible you will die today or the next moment? Not possible. We have a dinner plan. How can you say you're going to die next moment? It's not certain about next moment. The hallucinated people will say that. We usually our way of thinking, our conversations are all very much conversation in hallucination basis, and mega unbelievable false decisions. So anyway, really, if you really think deeply, it's so true that you really have no confidence that you will definitely live after the next, definitely have living in the next moment. You see, so therefore, whatever good things that you wish to achieve, whatever goodness that you wish to accumulate, and accumulate in the present time. And this is so beneficial to also to live, to make ourselves to live in the present moment, which is so important. Living in the past, unless if we live in the past of rejoicing those goodness, then there's some benefit. Rejoicing of the virtues of the past, goodness of the past, then at least if we reflect on if we live in those kind of past, if you feel happy, if you rejoice, then there's some benefit. Otherwise, there's no benefit. Some more very much harm. You see, if we live in, if we always grasp on the past times, always live in the past experiences. that can be very disturbing. Can bring, most of the time we have this habitual nature from beginningless lifetime that we tend to, more grasp on the negative side of our past experiences. Without effort, we naturally remember the negative side of negative experiences of the past, and we naturally grasp on the negative experience of the past. You see, and from there we suffer so much. From there we intensify the karma of the past, those negative karma. Many of the karma that committed in the past of those negative experiences, by recalling them, grasping them, now create a condition to complete those negative karma, to bring immense fruitions of suffering in the present time or the next moment onward, in the future times, right? You see, so there's only faults, there's only disadvantage, living in the past. Now, there's so much, disadvantage of living in the future, and again in our human nature, because of we very much influenced by delusion. We very much live, we very much delusionalize of future times, future experiences, such as fear of the uncertainty of future is a delusion. Fear. On top of that, there's a grasping, the inherent grasping of a few events, and the immediate level, they are, mostly comes in the nature of fear. So there's no benefit or harm, I see. So when you learn to live in the present time, the life becomes very simple. The job to take care of your life, it becomes numberless times easier. You see, and even you're going through a negative experience in the present time, it becomes very small. You see, you don't really suffer so much. Most of the suffering is carried away by concerning of the continuation of that suffering. Again, in the permanent grasping, you see, whatever presence, if suffering comes our way, if we have this not living in the present, but rather living in the future, then this problem is very much magnified as huge, as a permanent, as like a permanent, like kind of permanent problem, and it's a great problem, and it's an everlasting problem, because it's the way how we look at the problem, very initial level, in the way how we apprehend through the eyes of permanent grasping. You see, so that gives intense, even the minor problem, minor suffering, it magnifies huge suffering and long-lasting kind of suffering. Even that in the present moment, even the problem may be just lasting only that moment, but the suffering we experience, as it's the suffering that we experience for eons time. The greatness of suffering is like huge, like that kind of, like whole world suffering that you're experiencing like that, because of it carry hallucination that very much served by the hallucination of mind of the permanent grasping. Yeah, you see. So if we learn to live in the present moment, then if we wish to, if we really wish to fulfill our inner voice, the innate voice, which is wanting happiness, do not want suffering, then you just learn to take care of that one present moment. And you just like educate yourself, talk to yourself, tell yourself that I'm asking you to take care of just one moment. You can even talk to yourself. I'm not asking too much from you. You want to be happy. and I'm asking you to provide happiness just for one moment. I'm not asking you to provide happiness for another 100 years or another week. I'm just asking you to provide happiness just that one moment, that one present moment. You see, so now to bring happiness, it becomes so simple job. To bring happiness to yourself becomes a simple job. You see, the area that you need to cover is just one moment. The concentration that you need is just one moment's concentration. And I think even the happiness in that moment, in just one moment, then it might be a very simple thing. Maybe this light. Wow, beautiful, warm. Wow, and just you saw this picture. His Holiness and Gentleman so wow, amazing. You say, oh, Hayagyo Buddhist Center. Oh, no. You see, like that. Then I just see you. Wow, everybody looks so peaceful. The only problem is someone is falling asleep. Otherwise, all look so peaceful. Wow, it's wonderful. Like no one is angry at me. It's so nice. You see, it's like that's it. Just so happy. Just pronounce all this so wonderful. And just have this mind. I mean, already past so many momentaries actually, not just one moment. We are asking lesser than we just did. That there's so many reasons to be happy came in. I'm just asking just one reason to be happy, because there's no room for you to have so many reasons to be happy. I'm just asking you to take only one moment, isn't it? Just asking you to take one moment, so you don't have to gather hundreds of reasons for you to be happy. You have not enough time. Just one moment. Yeah. And the reality is, if you really want to be happy, maybe you may only have that only one moment. Because the next moment, you really don't know. Isn't it? And it's well done if you're able to enjoy your life in that one moment. You see, we naturally, avoid all the present moment and, look for something that arrive. You see, it's discontented, never appreciating, always carry the mind of discontentment. You see, just be contented in that present moment, just with this light. Can you imagine if you are in the darkness? Can you imagine, the complete darkness, even in the daytime, it would be very moody, isn't it? There's some places like even daytime, completely darkness. I remember in Sweden or somewhere, it becomes sometimes daytime also become dark, and it feels very moody. Is it? But then also like kind of a bit of cold or something like that. Then it's not so nice, just light, I mean, so wonderful like that, yeah. And just the color, the flower, unbelievable, There's some places just in desert. Can you imagine? So you are just so contented with, just this flower, amazing, the color, the characteristic, the smell, the aroma, unbelievable, you find reasons to be happy in everything. And there are people, I remember some people, they enjoy darkness. There are some people really, I think there are people who go for a retreat, darkness retreat or something like that. They really like put themselves in a complete darkness, dark room. Yeah, why not? If it's really dark, then we also enjoy that moment with the darkness, etc. Anyway, so you see, excuse me. So yeah, so not asking too much. You see, so make life, make life very simple. You see, so now, since everything exists in the natural law of cause and effect, if really there's really next moment is coming your way you to be exist in next moment, then in the present moment, you already created a causes for that. So the next moment is taken care. See, so then when the next moment arrive, and be in the present moment. Each moment arrive, be in that present moment. So basically, throughout the day, if you have a time to live for a whole day, then live each present moment, completely throughout the day. You see, so in our nature, most of it, the human nature is, before finishing enjoying lunch, we already concerned, worry about dinner, isn't it? And first you just enjoy, the lunch. After finish lunch, after poo-poo, then maybe think about the dinner. What kind of dinner you're going to have? But while having lunch, is already figure out what kind of dinner going to happen. Before living in today, you already start to wear, enjoying today's sunny day, already start to look at the weather to tomorrow. And then you start to complain, not as sunny as today. or some limitation where you find it out. Even it's very sunny also. Why rapidly today is so sunny? Why, if it's gloomy, it's gloomy, so anyway, it also helps us to really, easy to, construct our mind, our awareness, easy to be in a positive thinking. To be positive about whole day is easy, but asking us to be positive that very present moment is not that difficult, even in the midst of very difficult time, you see. So anyway, yeah. So in short, if you look for reasons to be happy, there's every experiences, you will find abundance of reasons to be happy. Especially tomorrow when we discuss about the teaching of Bodhicitta, in the eyes of Bodhicitta, in the eyes of great compassion, even in the suffering, you find meaning, you find reason to be happy. There's no question about in the happiness that you surely have so much reasons to be happy, isn't it? And happiness is so important because the ultimate reason is whether in the natural wanting or even a spiritual wanting. And ultimately, we are really looking for happiness. That's it. You see, even in an ordinary way of wanting happiness, even we may not announce what is true happiness, but the real thing, what we're really aspiring for is we want lasting happiness. We want true happiness. You are still asking for the happiness that you enjoy when you become Buddha. Even those non-Buddhists, even those non-believers, they want to be happy. And that happiness, actually, they're asking the same quality of happiness that you can enjoy when you achieve Buddhahood. The happiness of the Buddha is completed happiness, everlasting happiness, perfected happiness. Before that, all the happiness, even the peace in nirvana, is not perfected. And you see, so if you ask somebody, do you want perfected happiness or not perfect happiness? Surely I say, I want perfected happiness. Even to the non-believer, is it, do you want everlasting happiness or you want small happiness? Say, oh yeah, of course I want everlasting happiness. So ultimately, you're asking for enlightenment. That's what I understand. So therefore, you see, so therefore, you see, if you find virtue in every experiences, there's abundance of virtue that you can find in every experience, even in the negative experience. If you have the right, right, what do you call the right mind to apprehend that, then you see virtue. Like whenever negative arises, negative occurs, then in the eyes of who was in the eyes of the Dharma, then that's the opportunity for you to purify. For you to even in the artistic practice of Tong, etc., which we'll discuss more. You see, so So like that, you know. Otherwise, if we carry the negative perception, even in the virtue, even in the virtue environment, you commit non-virtue. Even like, you know, we practice, we pray, meditate, learn Dharma for holy concern, then all become non-Dharma. It's a holy Dharma. You see, if you make offerings to the holy object, you know, it can be non-Dharma, right? You see, so we need to have this, you know, the all our senses, all our mind has to carry the lenses of the Dharma. It's best is altruism, you know, like that. Okay. Then, yeah. So I think something like that. So maybe I share some here. Okay, I will finish quick. So there's one sutra, the extensive sport sutra. Speak of impermanent with many examples. The three worlds are impermanent, like an atom cloud. The birth and death of being is like watching a dance. The passage of life is like a lightning in the sky. It moves quickly like a waterfall. All functioning phenomena, especially our life, you know, the knowledge on impermanent, meditation on impermanent, mainly it has to be related to our life, you know, the life and death, you know, not just understanding impermanent nature. Mainly, the purpose of this topic is important is to overcome the grasping in relation to, you know, our life, and of course, to overcome the, you know, the attachment grasping, aversion grasping in relation to all experience, but specifically to our life, like such as the body, the life force, you know, to actualize in a genuine sense of renunciation from the permanent grasping. So it's an example that we can use, you know, the three worlds, desire, formless worlds, you know, is so impermanent. It's like a, you know, cloud in the atom, like that. Birth and death of being is like watching a dance, you know. It's like a quick movement, you know, quick occurrence, you know. The passage of life is like a lightning in the sky, you know. It's really, when we really think about our life, even though we see like a long journey, long life, it's really like a lightning, like a spark, you know. It's a so short moment, you see. So because of so short moment, honestly speaking, that's really with the past meritorious karma, then put you into a you know, abundance of, you know, material comfort that without much you know, exhausting your precious time and effort, and welcome them. Have it, but have it without attachment grasping. If not, then as long as, you know, you have a shelter and you have enough food, enough medicine, enough insurance, then take it easy. Like, you know, in this very brief moment of life, you know, complete energy, complete time, just building house, just, you know, buying, you know, bigger and bigger car, you know, just you know, wasting energy, you know, have so much grasping, you know, just protecting the loved one and putting all the efforts to just to, you know, offend the you know, people like enemy, also whatever is aversion, you know, and just like nothing to do with the rest of the being, you know, just completely alienate from the rest of the world. No point. Just in this very brief life, try to make as many friends as possible. Be kind to as many people as possible, many people as possible. Basically, be positive in all time, in all way. Whatever comes in your way, the nature or living beings, human or non-humans. Even to the spirits, even to harm givers. We relate to them with sense of heart of forgiving, heart of kindness. Loving, compassionately. You see. So those are really karmically, those are really, really beneficial for our Lord journey. Even in the temporal level, at least yourself, you live confident, you live with the dignity because you live virtually, isn't it? Otherwise, it's like always, imbalance. Our system always stay imbalanced. Then a lot of stress, a lot of anger, a lot of desire. So no point, you see. So you think like a lightning. Life is like that. Social span. Then our, how young you are. The life towards the death is like very much like the stone, like roll from the very, very like steep mountain, like that, rolling down, quickly, or like a waterfall, only come down. It will never go back, never get younger, like that. Always, it's every single moment getting older and older. You see. So Lama Tsongkhapa said, thus one's inward reflection yields some sense of certainty about impermanence. Contemplate by applying your understanding of it to many things. For it is said that everything around us teaches impermanence. So, so as mentioned before, first, look, observe the growth thing, then, everything, use reason to relate to our own life, Then there's a commentary on the 4th stanza by Chandrakirti. Hero of humans, beginning from the first night of entering a womb in this world, one proceeds daily without delay into the presence of Lord of Death. The moment we are born is already proceeding journey towards death. But we normally carry like we are living. We becoming more stronger. Actually, every single moment, the moment from the womb we become a being, then the death process already starts. You see, physically it seems like we're becoming stronger, but in actual fact, karmically the lifespan is getting shorter. The moment you are birth is already proceeding to the death. So like that. Then the treasure of knowledge says, here the lifespan is uncertain. At the end of the cycle, it is 10 years in the beginning and measureless, you see. So in the past, in the beginning of this fortunate eon, immeasurable lifespan. So in our time now, it's already, mostly about 100 years. And it will go up to the human age of 10 years. That's the longest you live like that. So even in that content, the lifespan is getting lesser and lesser and lesser, you see. So never expect that, one day, with the help of science, with the medicine, I can prolong long life, and that's also a bit hallucination. When the karma take effect, science also doesn't work. So then the collection of indicated verses says, among many beings seen in the morning, some are not seen in the evening. Among the many beings seen in the evening, some are not seen in the next morning, like that. When many men and women and even youth dies, how can the living be so confident to say this person is still too young to die? You see, so this is a common conversation. Say, oh, you are too young to die. I'm older, I will die first. No, not certain. It's all about karma. Some dies in womb, some at birth, some when they can crawl, Some when they can run, some are old, some are young, some are young adult. Everyone goes gradually, like ripe fruit falling, so everyone, so there's no one will live forever, Is bear in mind, so this is Lama Tsongkhapa said in Lamrim, bear in mind the cases you have seen or heard concerning, the friends who reached the end of their lives and died without fulfilling their intentions, suddenly dying because of external or internal causes. Be aware of that, thinking over and over. I too am subject to such death. So, for the for this practice of the meditation on death impermanent, so these are beneficial to be aware and use that as a tools of examples to convince yourself to have a realization on the death and impermanent, so that your Dharma practices can be real Dharma practice, without the the contamination of worldly concern. Then engaging in the Buddhist services by Shantideva says, thus life is constantly lost, day and night, without a pause. And there is nothing which can extend it, nothing. Why should death not come to someone like me, So even we think, the technologies develop, medicines are advanced, so therefore, I have better chance to live long. So all these are unhelpful in relation to the meditation on Lamrim on death and impermanent. Even we have to come to a understanding that nothing can extend my life. How advanced the medicines out there, and really the death may be possible next moment. So therefore, I must practice now. So then, this meditation again use, contemplating on many examples as explained before. Then Lama Tsongkhapa said, it is certain that death will come sometime between today or 100 years from now. It is uncertain on which day within that period death will come. Therefore, for instance, you cannot determine whether or not you will die today. However, you must assume that you will die and should think, I will die today. This is Lama Tsongkhapa says, if you're truly practitioner of Dharma, and this is the thinking that we need to have, and you will be surprised, some people may think, then there will be freak out every day, but the actual reality, when you think like that, no, you enjoy every day, you lose completely fear of that, you see, and any obstacle comes in your way, you also fear that will cause death, whether there's an obstacle obviously coming in your way or not, the karma which is unexpressible, undescribable by your ordinary mind, maybe already defining your death is the next moment. You see? So, see, that is the fact. Then the external factors, it doesn't really bothers, making your emotion ups and down like roller coaster, suddenly something good thing happen. Oh, this is very good, happy. Some sickness or whatever comes in your way, you completely freak out as if they're going to die immediately like that. So you will have a very balanced mind. And most importantly, you will be able to live in the present moment with sense of settledness in the practice, not in settledness that will live forever. So if a beginner, if you have a difficulty to think, I will die today, then at least I probably will, or probably will die today, or probably will not die today. At least, make it lighter. You will continuously make preparation to stay in this life and will not prepare for your next life. Meanwhile, you will be seized by the Lord of Death, and you will then die in sorrow. You see. So if you always think that you are living, then you will not prepare. Then when the death, comes in your way, then, usually such kind of practitioners, it's like fail in the practice and you die with so much regret, so much sorrow, then that very much define your future lifetimes will be very, unfavorable condition like that. So if you prepare for that every day, you will accomplish many goals for your next life. Hence, even if you do not die today, you will have done well. If you do die, it is even more meaningful in that you will have done what you needed to do. You see, after you have, you really fully live in the present, in present moment with the Dharma, then if you die today, that's a fortune. You die while you are living in the Dharma. The unfortunate is suddenly when you are not in Dharma, then dies. That's the unfortunate. You see. Then if you don't die, that's also good. For example, when it is certain that the great enemy is coming to do you severe harm in sometime between now and some point in the future, but you do not know on which day the enemy will come, you must be cautious every day. It is like that, Lama Tsongkhapa says. If you think every day, I will die today, or at least I will probably die today, and you will act for the benefit of whatever next life you will go to, and you will not make preparation to remain in this life. If you do not have this thought, then you will see yourself as a staying in this life, and you will make provision for this life rather than act for the benefit of your next life. For example, when you plan to stay someplace for a long time, you make preparation to stay there. If you think that you are not going to stay there, but are going elsewhere, then you make preparation for living. Hence, every day you must develop an awareness of imminence of your death in the following way. You see, okay. So then it talks about the, what do you call the following way maybe can be understood from this quotation in the Precious Garland. It says, the causes of death are many. Those of staying alive few. These two become cause of death. Thus, always practice the teaching. So even with regard, certain medicine as cause for, it's good for health, good for life. Certain food you think you eat to survive the life, but then certain food become cause of your death. Some people just eat chalk, they die. And some medicine really bring toxic to your body, and that condition to your life, condition you want to die like that. Then if not even ash will remain when the physical world, the earth, Mount Meru and the sea is bombed up by 7 blazing sun. What need is there to mention human who are so very frail? So just a matter of time. There's exhaustion of the entire universe. By the what do you call the fire at the end of the eon. Even the mountains, how solid the mountain is, how many liquid like the water, like ocean, completely everything will be burned. So just that time will arrive. Okay, so how can say that I won't be harmed by that? We are obviously so much frail. So. So Lama Tsongkhapa says, after you have reflected in this way, you should resolve that since there is no certainty as to when the Lord of Death will destroy your body and life, you will practice the teaching right now without assuming that you still have time. Make this pledge many times from the depth of your heart. And then there's another quotation. So this Lama Tsongkhapa quoted in Lamrim. The Lord of Death, a friend to no one, descend suddenly. So do not wait, saying, I will do it tomorrow. Practice the sublime teaching with urgency. It's not good for people to say, I will put it off until tomorrow and do this today. And do this today. Tomorrow, when you are gone, will undoubtedly come. So basically, so now you see, okay, now I will conclude, okay? So yeah, so meditating on the dead and impermanent, then you make the decision to practice the Dharma in the present time. Then when the death occurs, then the continuum doesn't perish completely. The continuum, even you after discard your body, the continuum of the living being carry on. So therefore, at the time of the death comes in our way, then nothing else benefits. Only the imprint from the action that we accumulate through our body, speech, and mind. That is the only one that troubled us and lead us to the next journey of life. Including the intermediate state, and then rebirth, then then rest of the life. So therefore, knowing that, then not only practice Dharma now, then make the third decision: only practice Dharma. That is the third decision. Because at the time of death, nothing else, no relatives, no power, no money, nothing can able to assist us. Only the virtuous imprint that live, by practicing virtues, and even to obtain higher rebirth, requires virtuous imprint. If we really want to be fully liberated from the sixth realm, then we need the virtuous Dharma virtuous imprint. You see, and if we want to actualize full enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, we need altruistic Dharma imprint. You see, so according with what you aspire, then you need to practice only that as preparation for long journey. So like that. Okay, thank you. So I stop here. Emboje maye banam jijoje jewa nyamba neva kone gondo bewara ma ale saembe Fearless teacher, victorious Lord, Buddha, victorious Lord, Son, Father, and Son, along with lineage master, all the objects of refuge, infinite. Please bestow the virtues and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. holding and spreading the Muni precious and complete teaching through explanation and practice. The word are more patient, never discouraged, compatible, venerable Guru. To you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teaching, so that we will reach all benefits and happiness in life, and for another living being. We certainly depart these what great laws. Nevertheless, if you understand truth, that's the approaches of the spiritual and the great words of the Bodhicitta, including the victorious one. May the smile of the reincarnation swiftly in glory of fortunate Krishna. Make clear in the heart of your essence of Buddhist teachings. Almost being supreme. We make this prayers of supplication. Please. Thank you very much. Sorry, I didn't again manage to leave time for question and answer. Tomorrow I promise. We have a lot of question and answer. You prepare questions from now. Thank you.